Every time we talk about the PlayStation platform, the one thing that a lot of PlayStation fans usually point to are PlayStation's games. There's no doubt their games are significant in the industry. However, after this many, years of them pretty much holding down that particular position, third-party publishers have pretty much come into play. Elden Ring, in my opinion, was a phenomenon that really showed the gaming community that, man, you can make a game that is artistically pleasing, that has everything a gamer would want, and even some things they don't know they want, and it will beat a PlayStation game, even though it's not even playing in a similar genre as it is. It's weird. And we continue to see this trend over and over and over again. Because of this, and also the fact that the market is being saturated with games every day, I've made the case and the argument that PlayStation needs to follow the words of its CFO and increase its aggressiveness in terms of its strategy to the PC platform and possibly making a day and date move. Because everyone that's already playing on PlayStation that wants to play on PlayStation is already going to play on PlayStation. If they decide they're going to move to PC, well, let them go. They'll give you 70% there anyways. So at the end of the day, it's still a win-win for them. Xbox understood this, and this is why Xbox is in the position that it is today. I got two comments. They're very interesting, and so we're going to go ahead and take a very close look at them. This audience member of mine, shout out to you. You said it might sound arrogant or selfish, but it is nonetheless my opinion, and which I respect. You said Sony should never release day one on PC or the platforms they are famous for their games. Everybody who understands gaming knows where the best games are at, and that's PlayStation. If you want them, you will buy $500 console to play them. Now, you may see people won't buy it well and do the research about that. People always will get the console if the games are worth it, and the games truly are worth it. So this is very smart, and I hope it stays so. If you want the best games, get the better console that those games and that those games and the first-party studios have. All right. Now here's the challenge to this particular concern. If their games are the best and their platform is the best, why even bother taking the game to any other platform? Stay the Nintendo route. But it's not possible for them. They may have what you deem the best games. I don't agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I like PlayStation games. I've played a good number of them that I've enjoyed that are in my top, 5 top 6 games. But here's the thing. If they leave them locked on their platform is not capable of providing them the growth financially that they need. Seeing that even when we go back and look at, say, just the last few weeks, again, all the way down from almost the beginning of the year all the way through now, the highest played games on the PlayStation platform, the highest paid for games and microtransactions, and the highest amount of time being spent based on player engagement rests on the games that PlayStation doesn't make or hasn't been able to get out of the window very well yet on PlayStation. Look at this particular chart. We look at this chart from time to time. The last one we looked at was the week ending October 5th. This is the week ending October 26th at the launch of Call of Duty. This number has not really moved. Call of Duty still is ranked number 1. Last week it was ranked number 2 and Fortnite was number 1. And then the new Black Ops game came out and it moved back to number 1. Followed by Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto 5, NBA 2K25, Dragon Ball Z, which is a new fighter that came out, Roblox, EA's College Football, WWE 2K24, Minecraft, which now you have in the top 10 again, 2 Xbox games. Oh, sorry, in the top 15 or top 17 or whatever it is, you have another Xbox game, Overwatch 2. Then you have MLB The Show 2024. If a new PlayStation game comes out, it ranks somewhere, and then it disappears. It's been doing that for a long time. So if PlayStation wants to actually do that, they can, but the question is, are they going to remain sustainable? Why? Because their own gamers are not even buying the game. What's even worse is if their gamers are not buying the game, how can they then convince others within their other, platforms to go buy the $500 worth of console to then play the game? It's a ridiculous ask when you're not selling a bunch of copies. If you were Nintendo shipping, millions of copies of any game you launch and your production cost is significantly lower, then yes, that's a realistic business plan for Nintendo. But it's not a realistic business plan for PlayStation. The second comment said, and I was talking about the market saturation. Games are all over the place in the market. I showed you guys a chart. I'll see if I can bring it up here. So far, this year is going to have close to 15,000 games that have been launched this year. On Steam alone, there are over 1,000 games that launch every month. 1,000 each month. And I'll show you the chart and the trend from previous years. You'll see why I think PlayStation did so well and could hedge down, the market for the most part because it was winning. But now the market significantly changed underneath its feet. But this audience member of mine, let's go ahead and see what they said. They said, did Sony tell you their exclusive games from their studios are making losses? How did you know that PlayStation money had at Wukong? I said allegedly. Don't put words in my mouth. But it is not rocket science. Exclusives will die. They're already dying. PlayStation's entire library is on the PC. Care to prove that? PlayStation's library is on the entire PC. At least from Sony's side, PlayStation library is entirely all on PC. Exclusives are gone. Like they've been eroded like crazy on that side. This person said, you just love to hear the sound of your own voice. Be factual. Actually, it's a little cringe to listen to my voice. It takes me a lot of effort to try to listen to my videos so I can try to review some of them if I'm not, too occupied. But what you're saying here is not true. Don't try to put these snide remarks. You see, this is the problem we have. You'll be putting snide remarks and you'll be over here, maybe shutting your eyes as if you don't know that the information exists. Do you not live on Earth where we have a Steam page? You say exclusives will die. My dude, they are already dead. I can show you. PlayStation has an entire third-party publisher page on Steam. They have one on Epic Games as well. If you want to go there and see it as well, too. They've established and are chilling that they also got one on Nintendo, too. Do you want to see it? Lego Horizon Adventures on the Nintendo Switch. They have it right there. Let me see. I want to show you so that you can see for yourself. That way I'm not just saying something and you're wondering and asking me, care to prove that? Here's the care. Maybe you run around and look around before you come and say, look at it, PlayStation Publishing. This is their publishing arm for the third-party games. It's the same PlayStation right here. Let's look at Horizon Zero. Let's look at Spider-Man 2. It's going to be PlayStation Publishing LLC. Why would I want to say something that is not readily available, especially on Steam, where I spend a lot of my time looking up games that I want to play? The market saturation has basically knocked PlayStation to the point where it needs the growth and can't get it from its own community and its own audience. That's what it is. Nobody's interested in buying a $500 console. Now, let me show you guys that particular, data set that I was talking about. It will be Steam game releases, Steam DB. That's what I used to search it. It's right here. This is Steam game releases summary by year. Look at 2013 all the way through 2020. There were, in 2013, when the PlayStation 4 was launched, there were only 434 games launched on Steam. By the middle of the generation, that number had gone to about 4,600. By 2020, when the generation was changing, that number was 9,691. In 4 years into that generation, that number is 15,000 and counting, 652. If it goes at this pace, we might see 16,000 games in 2024. Do you know what the exponential growth of availability of games is when you look at this data set? How is PlayStation supposed to fight with all these games? They put out a $60 game and everybody looks at it and says, what are the terms? And then when they put out the $60 game, they say, well, PlayStation Network account required. And a lot of people say, heck no. Did y'all see the Push Square article? Push Square article said, they just came out just with an article just recently and said no one showed up to play Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. I saw it just recently. I said, oh my goodness. Where is that? I can't find it anymore. Maybe I'll put it in a different video for you guys. And I was saying, oh, why did nobody show up? You're putting the PSN requirement. So they're bringing their games to PC to make more money, to grow, but they're not doing the right thing. Now, let me answer your first question, because that first question is, I think, one of the more important ones. Did they tell you that they're exclusive games and from their studios are making losses? Well, they just lost $400 million on Concord, but that's still not even what's more damning than anything else. What's more damning is when they looked at Xbox's business model in their industry major shifts and threats document that got leaked in the Insomniac hack. They realized that somewhere, somehow, the massive threat to PlayStation Plus that Game Pass provided was actually leaving them with a gap of $1.5 billion of annual revenue to fill. That by itself, whether there's a loss on the game or not, is already a problem to them because their competitor is already sitting ahead of them. You see, there are all kinds of different losses and, indirect losses, and there are different kinds of profits or indirect profits that you can get, or positions in terms of your finances. And so even if even if some of their games may not be losing them money, they still have revenue deficits that they must keep up with. And how else are they going to get a revenue, deficit resolved or plugged up when their subscription service cannot match Game Pass's subscription service? And Game Pass's subscription service continues to look more and more enticing to the average gamer every day. This is where PlayStation finds itself. This is why it needs the sales of software to help it to mitigate and fill in those gaps. This is why you're seeing Marvel Spider-Man 2 move very fast to PC to try to capitalize on that. God of War 2018 made a lot of money on PC, but God of War Ragnarok didn't move too much of the needle. A lot of people were not feeling it. That PlayStation Network thing, they were like, nope, we're not doing it. Plus, for the most part, they're like, if you're going to make us wait for this game, we're going to make you wait for our money. And so some people in the comment section are telling me that they'll be interested in Ragnarok when it's $12. That's crazy. So now they have no choice than to they have a choice, but they have two slim choices. Choice number one, don't bother bringing your game to PC. Nobody wants a PlayStation requirement. Or number two, get it there and get it day one. Simple. And I think that's pretty much the most important aspect because they want to catch up with Xbox with MAUs. They're behind. They're way behind. Xbox went a whole different route. And so, yes, if you're wondering why, PlayStation is not going to do what both of these comments are recommending, the answer is sitting right there in front of us. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.